What's up, everybody? It's Grim, and you're watching Thrash Maniac 99 Wrestling, Gaming, and Metal videos. Hit the real intro.
What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and it's time for yet another episode of the Mosh Pit Reviews. Yes, we are back for a second week of reviewing metal albums that come out here in the calendar year of 2019, and we're only 2 weeks into the new year, and already with this album, holy cow, we might have already reached an Album of the Year contender in the early goings of the year. And the album I'm going to be talking about in question is the brand new album from SOILWORK called VERKLIGHETEN, which I believe that's how you pronounce it. I probably butchered it because I butcher a lot of foreign words or phrases or what have you. But some context into this band. So SOILWORK is a Swedish metal band that formed in the mid to latter portion of the 1990s. And they've been mostly known as a pillar in the melodic death metal genre, while over the years they have sort of layered on top of their melodic death metal style with other elements such as alternative metal and even a touch of metalcore from the US scene kind of sprinkle into their sound. But over the course of the last couple of albums, from what I know of, they've kind of returned to their original melodic death metal style from the late 90s, early 2000s, while adding in some other elements such as new wave of British heavy metal, traditional metal, and even some power metal I feel is sprinkled in. Now, let me give a little thesis about how I feel about this band. This was actually the first time I've ever listened to SOILWORK. SOILWORK has always been a band that's really escaped me. Not because I disliked them, in fact, anything I had heard of them, whether it was like a portion of a song, I liked what I heard. It's just, how do I tackle this band who's been around for a long time and have been fairly consistent, as far as I know of, throughout their whole career? So this is my first full album that I've checked out from the Swedish Titans and SOILWORK, and, well, you kind of already know my opinion about this album already. Even after just only 2 listens, this album is magical. Like, the first half of this album, probably one of the best first halves of any album I've heard in quite a while. I mean, like I said, the band sprinkles in some elements of old school heavy metal into their sound, and also the clean vocals. Like I said, I've never listened to SOILWORK prior, or not listened to a full SOILWORK album prior to this, and already from what I could tell with the clean vocals, you could tell that singer Bjorn Strid, I believe that's how you say his name, Bjorn Strid, his clean vocals sort of, for me, reminds me of the singer from Blind Guardian, having a more thespian style of vocals as opposed to typical power metal where it's all about kind of style. And I know that was pretty terrible, but yeah, that was my terrible impression of a high note. But nonetheless, he seems to have that more thespian style of clean singing, similar to bands like Blind Guardian, and even at times it reminds me of like the mid to low range style of Rob Halford. I know that's a bit weird to say, but it's just what it reminded me of. And also, you could definitely tell whenever they came up with some of these riffs, they were heavily inspired by old school metal. Hell, the final track of the album, let me pull it up because I can't remember, your Aquiver. I'll just go with that. There was a couple of riffs in that song that reminded me so much of the Ozzy Osbourne song Bark at the Moon. It's got that fast pace, picking style in that riff, and I thought to myself, Am I in 1983 all of a sudden? But yeah, like I said, the first half was quite strong. It does hit a bit of a down point when you get to this song, track number 7, Stahlfagel, I'll go with that. And also features Elisa White-Gluz from Arch Enemy on guest vocals. And while the song isn't terrible, it was definitely, for me, the least memorable song of the album from what I've listened to. And also, it just, I don't know, Elisa, to me, she's kind of gone downhill with her vocal style, in my opinion. It's just, I'm not a big fan of hers really that much anymore, so I'm sorry, Arch Enemy fans, but I prefer Angela over Elisa when it comes to vocals for Arch Enemy. And while she does clean vocals on this song, her clean vocals aren't bad, but she got completely overshadowed by Bjorn in this song. But everything else, mwah, it was exquisite. It was almost like as if I went to a fancy restaurant and I ordered me the best shrimp scampi in the world, and it got delivered to me hot and fresh, and it tasted wonderful. That's kind of the vibe I got from this album. It's just got a magical type of sound to it that reminds me so much of the original melodic death metal days from bands like Carcass and At the Gates, Edge of Sanity, and even Dissection, while layering in on top even more old school heavy metal elements than you would get within a melodic death metal band. Also, the clean vocals I thought were very, very strong. The unclean vocals, I'll admit, I wasn't too big of a fan of for it, because to me it sounded too much like as if I'm listening to a metalcore band. But it was still, the vocals, the unclean vocals, should I say, God, I cannot speak today, were executed very well. However, the clean vocals was what really made this album shine for me. Plus some of the riffs reminding me of old school heavy metal. And because of all that, and also I forgot to mention the song Needles and Kin featuring Tommy Joutsen from Amorphous. I thought them two, Bjorn and Tommy, together on vocals, doing the clean vocals, and even the guttural stuff, well, maybe not guttural, but the low vocals, I thought gelled together like bread and butter. Smother me up and toast me in the toaster. But, so overall, this album, like I said, this is a potential album of the year contender, and we're only 2 weeks into the new year, and hell, I still got a few other albums from this weekend to check out for the video on Sunday. So I've got a lot of listening to do this weekend, but overall with this album, if I were to score it, I would actually give this album a 36 out of 40. It is an amazing album. It really, really is. For those who have slept on Soilwork for a long time and have sort of left the fold, I suggest you check this album out, and maybe it will convert you back into being one of their fans again, or give you new hope for the band. I could definitely tell you, as far as a first time listening to a full Soilwork album, definitely looking forward to what these guys are capable of next. But anyways, for those watching this review that love metal or like Soilwork, what did you guys think of VERKLIGHETEN by Soilwork? Let me know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and stick around this Sunday for my additional reviews, which will be for the other albums I wanted to check out from this weekend. And I'll give you like a 2-minute quick review of each album. This was the big one. Originally, I was going to do Bring Me the Horizon, but I went to go to Apple Music and it wasn't available, so I guess it got pushed back. And I'm kind of glad, because I don't really want to talk about that album, but I have to because it was one of the albums on my list. I may end up dying from listening to it, or I'll be pleasantly surprised, but that won't happen till the end of the month. But thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Keep it metal, and I'll see you next time.